San Antonio was one quarter away from a championship, one quarter, and then it all came apart, not once, but four times in a row. In the 2026 NBA Finals, the San Antonio Spurs built double-digit leads in every single game against the New York Knicks. Every game. And every single time, that lead disappeared. Game 4 wasn't just a loss. It was one of the most historic collapses in Finals history, the kind of game that gets replayed for decades as a cautionary tale. By the time Game 5 arrived, the Spurs were playing with house money and empty tanks. They controlled most of the night. And then with the title in the building, the gas simply ran out. Now the confetti has settled in New York, and 3,000 kilometers away in a quiet front office in San Antonio, the hardest conversation in franchise history is about to begin. Because here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. This Spurs team isn't broken. It's one of the youngest, most talented rosters in basketball, built around a transcendent talent unlike anything the league has seen in a generation. They went from 34 wins to 62 wins and a finals appearance in a single season. That's not bad luck. That's a team that arrived early. But arriving early creates a different kind of pressure. Because now the front office has to answer a question that has ended dynasties before they ever started. Do you stay patient with the core that got you here? Or do you blow it up while the ceiling is still rising? At the center of it all is a 22-year-old who has already become the most feared two-way force in basketball, Victor Wembanyama. Nearly 7'5", moving like a guard, defending like a wall, and somehow still just scratching the surface of what he can become. This summer, the Spurs are expected to hand him the richest contract extension in franchise history, a supermax deal that locks him in for the next decade and tells the league in no uncertain terms that San Antonio's future is built around him. That part isn't really a decision. That part is inevitable. The real decision, the one that will define this team for the next 5 years, is about the man who was supposed to be his partner in crime, De'Aaron Fox. Fox arrived in San Antonio as the missing piece. A blur in transition, a closer in crunch time, the kind of guard who could turn Wembanyama's gravity into easy buckets. For a stretch, it worked beautifully, but in the biggest moment of his career, it fell apart. Fox never fully recovered from a high ankle sprain suffered in the Western Conference Finals. Across 5 finals games, he shot just 34.4% from the field, below 26% from 3, 12.8 points a night from a player who's supposed to be a 25 points a night problem. 3 finals appearances now have ended the exact same way for Fox. Ice cold when it mattered most. And waiting in the wings, almost cruelly, was the answer to a question nobody had even asked yet. His name is Dylan Harper, 20 years old. A rookie who spent most of the season coming off the bench. Only 4 starts in 69 games. Nobody outside San Antonio was talking about him in October. But by June, in the brightest spotlight the sport offers, Harper wasn't just keeping up. He was outplaying veterans twice his experience. 18 points a night, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting nearly 50% from the field in the NBA Finals as a rookie off the bench. It's the kind of performance that doesn't just turn heads, it rewrites plans. So now the Spurs front office is staring at a roster with 2 ball-dominant guards and only one job opening. Keep Fox, the proven veteran with championship scars and a contract that says max player, or hand the keys to a 20-year-old who just showed on the loudest stage in the sport that the offense might run better through him. It is, almost word for word, the same trap that has swallowed contending teams before. Hold on too long to what got you to the doorstep, and you risk wasting the prime years of the generational talent you built everything around. Move on too early, and you blow up real production for unproven upside. There's no version of this offseason where San Antonio gets to avoid the question. The only choice is which mistake they're more willing to live with. There's a second storyline running underneath all of this, quieter but just as important. The man calling the plays. Mitch Johnson is 39 years old, one of the youngest head coaches in the league, and this was only his second season in charge. By almost any measure, what he did this year was historic. 34 wins to 62, a trip to the finals, Coach of the Year buzz all season long. And then he ran into Mike Brown. Across 5 games, the gap wasn't talent. It was experience. Brown made in-game adjustments when his team trailed by double digits and found answers almost instantly. Johnson, for stretches, looked like exactly what he is, a coach in just his second year, learning some of basketball's hardest lessons in real time on the biggest stage there is. That doesn't necessarily mean San Antonio needs a new coach, but it does mean the front office has to ask whether their head coach can close the exact same gap that just cost them a title, and whether one more offseason is enough time for him to do it. So picture the Spurs front office walking into this summer. On one side of the table, a generational superstar who needs to be locked in immediately, no debate, no hesitation. On another side, a former all-star point guard who has now gone cold in the exact moments that decide championships 3 different times. Across from him, a 20-year-old who looks like the answer but has played less than 1 full NBA season. And standing behind the whiteboard, a coach who just proved he belongs and just got outcoached on the sport's biggest stage in the same series. Every team that has ever built a true dynasty has faced a version of this exact moment, the fork in the road where talent alone isn't enough, where the front office has to choose conviction over comfort. Get it right, and you're looking at a banner-hanging run that lasts a decade. Get it wrong, and you're looking at a what-could-have-been story that gets told for years. The Spurs have the most important piece already in place. What they do with everything around him, that's the story that's about to be written this summer. And for a franchise with this much history of getting the big decisions right, the entire basketball world is about to find out if lightning can strike twice.
Get down! Yeah! Let's dance!